Within your baby's first year of life, their brain doubles in size and it will form over 1 million neuronal connections every single second of every single day. This is the single most critical window for neurological development within your child, more than they'll ever have within their entire life. Yet most parents are told to just track milestones: when they smile, when they roll over, what their first steps are. But if something feels off, the answers that you're going to receive from your doctor are wait and see, or don't worry, they're going to grow out of it. Now, what if the baby is technically hitting their milestones while their nervous system is struggling underneath? What happens when the foundation is cracked and nobody is actually checking it? Parents, you have to realize that your pediatrician, they do schedule routine wellness visits. However, all they're doing is measuring weight, checking the circumference of their head, and giving shots. Outside of that, they really don't do anything for tracking health or helping your child be healthier. Because here's the thing, the majority of kids, I would assume 99.9% of kiddos in this society today, have seen a pediatrician on a regular basis, and yet the majority, over 40%, are chronically sick and ill. So this doesn't really make sense, because if you're going to your doctor, assuming that going to the pediatrician makes your child healthier, but yet the majority of kids are sick, what's going on within this system? And that's one of the things that we're going to start to scratch the surface, because health challenges should be foreseen years before they express dysfunction or disease. And that's what we're going to talk about, is that your baby's first year of life is absolutely one of the most important pivotal times of their entire life. And most people completely ignore everything that's going on. Now, your baby can technically pass every developmental screening while also having underlying neurological dysfunction that impacts their health, their learning, and their behavior for years to come. This is why children will be just fine from 0 to 1. Then all of a sudden at 2 or 3, they're diagnosed with seizures or autism, developmental delays. All of these things are oftentimes indicated in very slight observations, but in the regards to the medical system, they're disregarded, not a big deal. Come back in 6 months, and once it's to that next level, then we'll give you the diagnosis. Well, that doesn't do anything for helping your child be healthier. Now, this conventional model checks whether your baby can roll over at 6 months, but it doesn't check whether that roll is symmetrical, whether it's coordinated, or whether it's built on a proper foundation developmentally. Now, in my practice, I hear this all the time. Parents knowing that something was off with their child, and yet everyone told them, don't worry, they're going to be just fine. We'll see you again in 6 months. Now, to understand the perimeters or baseline of health, we got to understand the nervous system, because the nervous system is that air traffic controller. And during the first year, your baby's brain has the extraordinary ability to form new pathways and adapt, which is called neuroplasticity. This neuroplasticity, it helps with rapid development, and it allows the nervous system to be unfortunately vulnerable to stress. And this stress comes from physical, chemical, or emotional factors. Look at our society. It starts off with birth trauma. It moves into chemical factors within their body and bloodstream, and then it goes with emotional factors. I mean, come on. Our society literally has most children in daycare or services where mom's not here, 9 months to grow a baby in utero, and within the first 3 months of life, they're shipped off to another environment. So yes, babies do have a lot of physical, chemical, and emotional stress in this society, and what that does is it creates dysregulation within their nervous system, what we call subluxation. And this subluxation starts with prenatal stress, birth trauma, and it can create early developmental challenges and very specific patterns of dysregulation extremely early on in life. And I'm going to teach you what to watch out for, because your doctors are going to just bypass it and ignore it. There can also be an imbalance within the nervous system itself, what we call dysautonomia, where there's a challenge or an imbalance between the gas pedal, which is the sympathetic nervous system, and the brake pedal, which is the parasympathetic, and it throws everything off balance. When the foundation is stressed, every milestone that builds on top of that is not going to be stable, and is going to be unstable because of the shaky foundation. If you look at a milestone under a different lens, it is a neurological test. Your baby's ability to latch and feed is their first major neurological assessment. It requires multiple cranial nerves, precise timing between the nervous system and the muscles. But check it out. Most children who do not latch or have struggles with breastfeeding, doctors don't really have any concerns over it, because what do? Go ahead and give them formula. Bypass what is normal. You understand that we are the only species on this entire planet, the only species in existence ever to be this crazy, to assume that a baby should not breastfeed. In other environments, if that ever happened, that child would not be thriving. They wouldn't be alive even. And that's so incredibly important, because breastfeeding is the first fundamental foundational requirement for life. And that's huge. And when you understand that, that means that you immediately need to look at the nervous system as that discoordination between the brain and the body. Now, head control around 8 to 12 weeks tells us that the cervical spine, which is the neck, and the deep neck muscles developmentally are progressing, and that's important. They've got to have that strong head control. A 4-month sleep regression, well, it's not a regression at all. Babies don't just sleep and then don't sleep. It's major evidence that the neurological reorganization is not stable. Now, crawling is also a very important neurological milestone. It stimulates balance between the brain's hemispheres, and it helps to build a foundation for walking and reading. However, babies who skip crawling, or if they crawl asymmetrically, scooting on their butt, they look very unique in their presentation, they will struggle later in life with learning, coordination, and behavioral regulation. Now, I'm going to throw something else at you that's going to look at you like, whoa. The CDC recently removed crawling as a developmental milestone. Now, the reason for this is that 75% of our population was not meeting this benchmark milestone, meaning it's been so common that babies are not crawling and they're jumping right into walking. What do? They just remove it. They didn't look at the reasoning of why. They didn't understand why it's so incredibly important. And this is a major setback within our system, because crawling is absolutely required in order for symmetrical structure in the future. And that's just how it is. Regardless of what's going on within our CDC and our government, crawling is extremely important. And it's the sequence of development matters more than the speed of how quickly it progresses. Now, there is this perfect storm of events. It's a cascade of different sequences. And it's multiple stressors that stack up and overwhelm the baby's developing nervous system. Meaning that this doesn't just happen overnight. It's not due to bad luck or bad genes. It starts before birth, because preconception stress in mom's body will set the infrastructure for the development of the child. So if mom's health is compromised, having fertility struggles, if their body's not functioning properly, that is an indicator that it's going to be challenging for mom to then create that baby inside if her body already is not working the way God designed it to. And what that does is that prenatal stress then causes more challenges with the development of the baby in utero. Then what do? We look at birth interventions. We look at Pitocin, forceps, vacuum extraction, C-sections. They all place significant pressure on the baby's head, neck, and nervous system. Now, babies don't talk, so they don't tell you what's going on. However, after birth, they have challenges with breastfeeding and latching. They have disrupted sleep patterns. They're overstimulated. Oh, and a little secret, what do doctors call sleep disturbances, overstimulation, agitation? They call it colic. And here's what happens. Don't worry, they'll grow out of it. Doesn't grow out of it, they just evolve into something different. Then it goes into early antibiotic exposure, ear infections, digestive issues, respiratory stressors. And that then starts to build a cascade of events that progresses even further. Now, each layer pushes the nervous system further into a sympathetic dominance. And when it gets stuck in fight or flight, they are unable to be calmed or regulated. And that progression continues. Understanding this is not to shame you. It's to recognize that some babies struggle more, and you can get them the help they need. And it doesn't need to come from a prescription or a shot. Their bodies can heal themselves if the interference is removed within their nervous system. Now, don't wait and see. Don't skip over these variables. Conventional pediatric care, well, they check whether milestones happened within a very broad time frame. They do not tell you how well the nervous system is actually functioning. That's a complete system they bypass. Your child can pass these screenings while compensating through tension patterns, asymmetrical movement, or skipped developmental stages, all in regards to what they see. When a parent expresses these concerns, whether it's feeding or sleeping or excessive crying, you will be told 9 times out of 10, it's a normal variation, don't worry, they're going to grow out of it. These missed milestones are a critical window when neuroplasticity is at its peak, 0 to 1 years old. And you can give them very gentle support that will make a profound impact on the rest of their life. Now, the conventional care consistently overlooks its assessment of subluxation and dysautonomia. The interference and imbalances don't show up on the standardized tests that doctors are performing. Your instincts, though, as a parent, that's more important than any diagnostic analysis, because parents know, especially if this is not your first child but your second or third, that is more important than any test or any literature or search can help with. There is an opportunity, though, is that neurologically focused chiropractic care focuses on the nervous system. And in our office, we use advanced technology, the Insight scans, to objectively measure how well your baby's nervous system is actually functioning. That's all that we focus on, is neurological analysis. These gentle, very non-invasive scans, they measure heart rate variability, muscle tension, and temperature regulation within the body. The adjustments for an infant, it's incredibly gentle. It is not what you see on YouTube with pulling the spine, cracking the back, using a lot of force. That's not how little babies are adjusted, I promise you. It's very light pressure, oftentimes what you would use in a grocery store to feel the density or ripeness of an actual tomato. Our care plans are used for each developmental phase. Every week, we reassess how regulation and feeding is occurring. Later on, we look at supporting muscle development, sensory processing, and social interaction skills. These are all objectively found by reassessing those scans. And instead of waiting for these problems to develop, we take a proactive approach, a wellness-based approach, proactively supporting the body's nervous system for optimal function from the very beginning of life. In many families, they see remarkable changes. Babies start breastfeeding, they start sleeping, they start developing properly when the subluxation is addressed early. Your baby's first few years represent the greatest opportunity they will ever have to positively influence their neurological development for long-term health. The patterns established during this first year of life, they will last a lifetime. And if you ignore it now, you will deal with chronic challenges in the future if that child is continuing to regress. If you sense something isn't quite right, whether it's your child's feeding, their sleep, their development, their regulation, your instincts are generally correct. And that's why you don't have to wait and see. You can be proactive and get them scanned in the office. So if you're interested, check out our bio. DM us, comment below. Just give us a call, because here at Maximize Chiropractic in Sacramento, your baby's nervous system is very important to us, and we're helping to build this neurological foundation to help them thrive through their entire life. Together, we can make sure that that foundation is strong and help them progress throughout the course of their life. We look forward to serving you.